This is Buckeye legend Mike Tomczak, and you're listening to OVE Podcast. It's Ohio versus everyone. Subscribe, like, listen, and follow, and don't forget your comments. Here's the show, and remember to always wash your BALLS.
Here we go. It is the OVE podcast of Wrestling Wednesday. I'm going to go solo today. BJ can't make it. He's at spring break. So we plan on doing the show. Instead of canceling the show, I'm just going to do it solo. We have not been on for a week. We will finish the rest of this week with me and Sam. After today's program, we're going to do wrestling because that's what we prepared for. We do it once a week. We're going to give it to you. The first Cody and John Cena interaction since the Elimination Chamber, since John Cena is going to WrestleMania to face Cody, since John Cena's heel turn to team up with The Rock. We will talk about it on this podcast. And remember, your chats are open. Since I'm going solo, I will read the chats today. So let's do the show together. And if you're interested in being a fill-in when we do wrestling, just shoot me an email. It is the ovepodcast@gmail.com. And we'll see if we can throw you on and you could be a fill-in. So this is last minute me going solo. But, dude, when you're with your family, you're at spring break, you spend time with your family. So let's get to it. And if you're hurt at work or in an accident, let attorney Robert Schuerger go to war for you at warforyou.com. Remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. We will be here the rest of this week. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as we had spring practice number 2 at the Buckeyes. So we'll talk about what we're hearing early in spring practice. We'll talk about NFL free agency. We will do all that Thursday and Friday, and maybe the collapse of the Columbus Blue Jackets because it looks like that season's over. So remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. We appreciate you. Now, we do not spend a lot of time talking about AEW because I don't want to sound like someone who craps on a wrestling organization, right? Like, because if you can't say anything good, they say don't say anything at all. But I think we should take some time on this Wednesday to talk about last week's Dynamite. Now, this week's Dynamite can't be worse. Last week's Dynamite was the second lowest rated Dynamite of the season. And here's what I got a problem with. And you could say to me, and I've had a lot of people who watch and listen to this podcast tell me, Torg, AEW is an alternative to WWE. I agree. It's not supposed to be like WWE. It's different wrestlings, different storylines, more wrestling in the ring. But it doesn't mean it has to be crap. It doesn't mean it has to taste like dick. Because that's what, I don't know what it tastes like, but I'm assuming it's bad. AEW right now is ass. It really is. You come off of a Revolution pay-per-view, right? And when you come after a pay-per-view, no matter what the show is on TV, it's either rematches, it's recaps, it's surprises, it's surprise turns from the pay-per-view. It's, oh man, I can't believe I missed that pay-per-view. It was so good, I can't believe I missed it, but I'm not going to miss the next one. Maybe they have rematches from the pay-per-view. Maybe something unfinished. But I can tell you this. AEW is failing. And if you want an example why, you can't argue with me. Watch Dynamite from last week. You had, in this pay-per-view, by the way, you had your two biggest stars in your company right now, Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland. They are without a doubt your two biggest name stars. Now, they might not be the biggest guys in your company, but if you were to ask wrestling fans across the country who the biggest stars, they're going to say Edge and Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, right? And MJF is in there in the conversation somewhere, and he's the only self-made star these guys have. Maybe Hangman Adam Page. But they come out of this pay-per-view, and the first segment, and I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you can just, you're not going to disagree with me. You could go on your DVR. If you have YouTube TV, it's right there. They come out with Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega comes up, and it's, Kenny Omega's talking, hey, I got this belt. I got my first belt. I'm back. Kenny Omega leaves. And what do they start with? Your first match after a pay-per-view. Kenny Omega, big star. Homegrown star, too. So you showcase that. He's back. He won a belt. I have no problem with it. Kenny is not going to light you on fire in the promos. He's a great talker, but he has nothing going on right now. But it's okay. It's more about a guy who has been out and we didn't know he was ever going to come back. I have no problem with that. I think Kenny Omega might be one of the best pure wrestlers in the world, and we definitely know he's laid his body on the line for us, the wrestling fans. But then you come back after that, your first match, and you give me this group Ops, Samoa Joe, Hook, who's as dry as a popcorn fart. You know what? If WWE can do something with that guy, kudos to them. Because this Hook, I'm 210 pounds and I'm so badass and I don't smile and I have a bag of chips with me. He is the lamest damn wrestler I've ever seen. Lame. And then Shibata. And they call themselves the Ops. Well, who are they wrestling? 3 jobbers you've never heard of. So I'm watching the Wednesday Dynamite, the first time AEW's on TV after a pay-per-view. And the pay-per-view I read was fantastic except for the main event match. And this is what you're giving me out of the gate. You're giving me 3, the Ops. Everybody's got to have a name. The Ops against 3 jobbers. That's what you're giving me. Then you're giving me Brian Cage against Powerhouse Hobbs and then 2 other guys I don't care about. A luchador wrestler who we don't know and a Japanese wrestler we don't know. And half the roster, let's be honest, is Japanese and Mexican wrestlers from CMLW or whatever the hell it is that we don't know as an audience that Tony Khan thinks are so great and I'm going to give them to you and you're going to love them. Tony Khan, no one gives a shit. No one cares about your bookmaking. You're bad at it. You have wrestlers we don't care about. You just came off a pay-per-view and this is what you gave us. Now, here's the good. MJF in the Hurt Business. Intrigued to see what happens there. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne possibly turning, and then Christian Cage telling Mama Wayne, you want to go back to the Waffle House? I liked it. The in-rings and out-of-ring segments were fantastic. And then the dirt sheets are saying, well, too many people were hurt. And if that's the case, if too many people on the pay-per-view got hurt, where's FTR? I know they're a Saturday Night Collision Wrestling, but you can make an exception and have FTR come out. Where's Private Party? They lost the tag team belts. You haven't even seen them. Where's Adam Cole? What's Adam Cole came back in a screwed up feud with MJF, and he hasn't been involved with in anything since. Where are these guys? And if you're going to give me, you're going to say you're about wrestling, I just named FTR, Private Party, Adam Cole. Pretty damn good wrestlers, right? So if you're telling me your wrestlers are too banged up and they can only do in-ring and behind-the-scenes segments, then where are the guys I just mentioned? Where is Daniel Garcia? What is it, the TNT champion? He might be in the lamest TNT title run I've ever seen in my life. He beats Christian, and he's in nothing. Has he defended the belt? Why the hell do you even have the belt? Is it supposed to be your second belt? Tony Khan, your organization is absolute crap. Absolute crap. And I know Nick D. Let me put this on here for Nick D. Nick D puts on here. And the super chat's open, by the way. The one thing I love about AEW is focused on wrestling and featured promos. I would agree with that. The problem is when they give you wrestling, it's guys you don't know, you don't care about. And they bring guys in and out. If Adam Cole comes back, Adam Cole, Nick D, should be wrestling 3 out of the 4 weeks. Adam Cole should be involved in feuds. Private Party, you just built them up. They were the ones who beat the Elite, right? They sent them packing. Then what happens? They lose to the Hurt Business. Then you don't see them on TV. FTR turned down a return to WWE for what? To be in nothing? They're just not in any storylines. So if you tell me that wrestling's the most important part of AEW, then showcase the wrestlers. Showcase the wrestlers that matter. And not these half pushes. The problem is they'll push someone and then you won't hear them anymore. How do you get Private Party and push them, And then they're not on TV after they lose the belts. There's no rematch. There's nothing there. You don't see them again. It's bizarre to me how AEW is running things. Then you have a main event, right? On Dynamite. Please don't watch because it's worse than what I'm talking about. Orange Cassidy against a guy, by the way, and I think his name was Cicero. And they tell you when the match is starting. Excalibur tells you, and I quote, folks in the U.S. don't know him. That was his exact quote. And this is a guy in the main event of your signature program against Orange Cassidy. And the announcer says, folks in the U.S., you don't know him. He is shaped like me, fatter than me, wearing a mask, and you don't know him. And he's the main event of your live TV program on TBS or TNT, whatever the hell network it's on now. TBS. I DVR it, so I couldn't tell you. And this is your guy. I just don't get what's going on there. There are too many guys out. Where's Wardlow? They told you Ricky Starks was out. He wasn't. Where's Wardlow? Is he hurt? Okay, he's got a knee injury. Where is he? Where are all the guys that are on the shelf that they've wasted? But instead, they'll waste wrestlers and sit them, and then they'll give you, and I quote, Excalibur, folks in the U.S. don't know him. And that's your main event? The Mortis, the dude who wears the bison head on his face against Speedball Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey's a fine wrestler. I watched him on TNA, but they have 1 million Mike Baileys. Mike Bailey's a good wrestler, but they have 2 million Mike Baileys, and he's against Mortis? But these are the people we see every week on AEW, and no one gives a shit. I mean, there might be some people like it but they just hate WWE. I watched an episode of MLW a couple weeks ago. They brought Eric Bischoff back for a little bit, and now Bischoff, I believe, is gone. But I watched it. It's on YouTube. It's a better product than AEW. And it's like a YouTube brand wrestling organization. It is just a step above NWA, Billy Corgan's organization. I would say now that WWE's in TNA might be better. Because at least TNA showcase their stars every week. TNA is about the wrestling too. But if I know the Hardy Boys are my tag team champions at TNA, I'm seeing the Hardy Boys every week. I know with Joe Hendry, I'm seeing Joe Hendry every week. I know Frankie Kazarian. I know the players, and TNA gives me the players every single week. Now, they don't have the big names like AEW has, but I know who the names are, and I see them every week. Santana, every week I see him. They show you. He wrestles. They wrestle people. AEW, I don't know who's coming in and out or what the hell's going on. And neither do they. It is badly run. It is badly booked. It looks like shit. And if you want to know why they are, just for bleeps and giggles, you want to know why they are losing and their ratings are an all-time low, put in Dynamite last week. Nick D, you're my guy. You should co-host this week. And by the way, Nick D, I think you sent me, remind me what I owe you. I think I owe you this Urban Meyer bobblehead. I got to get this out. Samoa Joe and Swerve had one match. They carried a main event. They could have carried a main event feud for months. Both are insanely talented, but you don't see it. They never do this. They never give you that. Where did Samoa Joe's push go? Hanging out with Hook and Shibata? Joe was the champion at one time. And now he's just a guy with two other guys that are fighting jobbers every week. You are wasting Samoa Joe. You are wasting your wrestlers. If I was an AEW wrestler, why the hell would you be there? For a paycheck? You go to WWE, you get a paycheck. Remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. I tell you what, we'll take a quick break. WWE this weekend had a little SmackDown overseas. You had Raw overseas. You had John Cena and Cody, and I want to get into this because John Cena, what he spoke wasn't what we expected as a wrestling fan, but it doesn't mean it was bad. We have it in 60 seconds on the OVE podcast.
We go to war for you.
At Schuerger Trial Attorneys, we don't back down. Accident? Call us today at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com for a free consultation. Know your rights because results matter. That's 877-WAR-FOR-YOU. 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com.
War for you, warforyou.com.
Denrob Management has over 40 years experience in all aspects of payroll, processing checks, tax filing, W-2 and 1099 preparation. First-time customers get 50% off their first 3 months processing fees. Give them a call now, 614-297-1158 or denrobmanagement.com. On this Wednesday, we are the OVE podcast. It is wrestling day. Usually it's me and BJ Schuerger for warforyou.com. He'll be back next week. He's at spring break. Let him live. I will do the wrestling pod this week. I got notes. I've watched all the shows. We're ready to go. Me and you on the chat. We will do it. If you want to chime in on the super chat, please do so, and we will throw you up there. Let's do SmackDown real quick. Then we'll get on to Raw because obviously that was the return of John Cena. That's the big meat and potatoes. Let me just tell you, up until I thought Cody's promo on Netflix on Monday night was the best promo Cody's ever done since coming into the WWE. Cody's kind of proved, and this is hard for Cody, because after the Elimination Chamber, you had a SmackDown and a Raw and a SmackDown where John Cena wasn't there. You had the second biggest heel turn in wrestling history, and you only had one guy, and it wasn't the villain to carry it. That's kind of unfair. Because when you have a heel turn in wrestling, what you want is the villain to be there. You don't really care about the good guy because he can come later. He's on the shelf because you just beat the crap out of him. Usually you want to hear from the villain. With John Cena filming overseas, you didn't get that. Cody, you may like Cody Rhodes. I like him as a performer. I don't think Cody can carry a feud. That's me. I don't think he can. I think Cody's good with a Roman Reigns. Cody is good with a John Cena. Cody's good with Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens makes everyone better. Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, sleepy time. Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, good only because Roman Reigns was involved. My point, and I'm not hating on Cody. Why am I hating on Cody? Just saying Cody can't carry a feud. And for the last three, the SmackDown, Netflix last week, not this week, and SmackDown this week, where he came out this past week, came out and beat up The Miz. He can't carry the segment. It's a little unfair. But that was the highlight. You've had Cody Rhodes try to carry this. And that's why Monday night at Netflix was so good. But on SmackDown, you had Cody Rhodes come out and beat up The Miz and same kind of stuff. U.S. Championship kind of looks like it's heading four-way, isn't it? But you got a month left. You still have a month left where you could finish the Fatu Strowman, and you got to put Fatu over. You have Fatu, Nakamura, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight. You have a four-way at WrestleMania. But you have to have Fatu winning. You have to make Fatu, continue to make him the madman, the Samoan werewolf. You cannot have a WrestleMania where Jacob Fatu misses out again on a championship. It's time to build Jacob Fatu and give him the U.S. belt. And you got to make your way to that. So I think the way they're setting it up with Jey Uso, LA Knight, Fatu, I don't know who the fourth person is. I'm just putting Nakamura in there because he's the former champ. Drew McIntyre came out, interfered in the Nakamura Damian Priest match, but I don't think we've had the Nakamura rematch, right? I don't think we've had the Nakamura rematch. That's where you throw him in there. And you know what? Those guys can go. You can't tell me that wouldn't be a good four-way, because usually when you get in a four-way match like this, you have to protect someone. There's someone you have to carry. Bronson Reed's not in this one. Those four people can go. That's why you got to do that four. You got to put Nakamura in there because they can all give you an entertaining match. And that's what it is, right? If you're doing something like that, it's kind of the middle tier. We care about LA Knight as a fan? I've interviewed LA Knight. Cool dude. Great interview. We care about LA Knight, but it's not upper echelon main event. And LA Knight hasn't been in that huge feud yet. We just like him. He's a great talker. Yeah. Great talker. We care about him. We like LA Knight. But he hasn't had that signature WWE feud. If you're in the chat, tell me what LA Knight's signature feud's been so far. Legitimate question. Has he had that hated feud in WWE? I don't think he's had it yet. But I like the 4-way at WrestleMania. And you know what I'd like to? Is that sometime between now and then, you could have Nakamura and Fatu in a tag team match with Jimmy and LA Knight. But some point before WrestleMania, LA Knight's got to beat the crap out of Jimmy Uso or vice versa. They haven't been listening to me, by the way, on my idea of Gunther beating the crap out of Jimmy Uso, and I don't think they can do it now because Jimmy Uso is now in a WrestleMania picture. My idea, go back and listen to some of our wrestling podcasts. My idea was, if you really want people care about Jey Uso and Gunther, which they are failing miserably, you have Gunther show up at SmackDown and put Jimmy Uso on the shelf. Now I'm interested. You've made it personal to me as the wrestling fan. You've made it personal for Jey Uso. The storyline they were taking us is Jey Uso's not good enough. Well, now, not only does he think he's not good enough, but he's beating up your family members, your brother. You just reunited, reconciliation with your brother. Now Gunther takes that away. But instead, they had Gunther on SmackDown against Axiom. How does that build anything for the Gunther-Jey Uso matchup? How does a guy from NXT, who's half of the World Tag Team Champions from NXT, fighting Gunther, and that's going to missing my words here. That's going to get me cared. Elevate. Thank you. In my head. I think my head. That's going to elevate Gunther and Jey Uso? I don't think so. The Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair thing was interesting because it was a next layer. If you missed it, Charlotte Flair was taken on B-Fab, and Charlotte Flair kept the figure 8 on. Tiffany Stratton came back. But the thing about this is the security came out. They broke through. How often do we see women breaking through security? Like beating off security guards. Did I say that? Beating off security guards. Fighting off security guards. We don't see it. It just doesn't happen. So the great thing about it, they not only fight off the security guards and they're doing big spots and they're jumping off the top rope on each other and doing table stuff, the announcing table, but they go to break and it continues. Now, here's the challenge. Make us care and one-up it again. Maybe some blood. How did Becky Lynch make her name in the WWE? It was Survivor Series when she got her nose busted. SmackDown versus Raw. Becky Lynch is bleeding all over the place. That was the start of Becky Lynch. Let's get some blood going. Will Tiffany Stratton bleed? You got to do something now. You gave us a little taste. Take it next level for us. Because it's WrestleMania time. Everything should be next level. And one more quick thing, and we'll get to the main event of SmackDown, then we'll move along to Raw. Because I really want to get into this John Cena, Cody Rhodes thing. Damian Priest. I want to talk about Damian Priest. And I want your comments. And remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. I haven't figured out Damian Priest. Because I think something's there. He's a big man. He can move. He's got wrestling skills. But the best we've seen from Damian Priest was with Finn Balor, right? Where the Judgment Day turned on Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre can be great in a feud with anyone. Drew McIntyre's that good. You may say he's whiny. I don't like the character. That's the idea. That's what he's meant to do. Drew McIntyre's not there for you to like him. Drew McIntyre's there for you to dislike him. Drew McIntyre, no matter what feud he is, he will make it work. Can Damian Priest make something work? I just don't. I think this will be a good feud. I like where it's heading. I'm interested in it. There is no better alternative for both guys, right? I don't think there's anyone I could pick out on the roster where I would say, yeah, I would like to see Damian Priest wrestle this guy. Now, Drew McIntyre, I could pick different guys because Drew McIntyre's had a beef with everybody. And I love that about Drew McIntyre. You could put Drew McIntyre in a feud right now against 5 different dudes, and it would work on a pay-per-view or a premium live event, excuse me. Drew can make it work with any. That's what I kind of like with his character. The genius of his character. He references CM Punk. He can go back to Seth Rollins. He could go back to Jey Uso. He could be on his bloodline kick. He could go after the bloodline again. Now he's got Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre is underrated. What's up, Buck? And then let's go to the Tag Team Championship. Street Profits win. And I think heading into WrestleMania, you got to have your best teams have the belt, right? You can't have DIY as your Tag Team Champions coming into WrestleMania. What did DIY against the Motor City Machine Guns? That's like a TNA pay-per-view. Not good enough for AEW, but that's like a TNA pay-per-view. Here's my thoughts on this. You give the title to Street Profits. You need something for Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga team up against the Street Profits, and they try to, and this is how you build it up. The Bloodline's getting all the gold at WrestleMania. Jacob Fatu's wrestling for the U.S. Championship, and Solo and Tama Tonga are fighting the Street Profits for the Tag Team Championships. Easy peasy. Bloodline, this is our year, and it starts with WrestleMania. And then you start credibility for that group. Credibility that they didn't have last year when you gave them the big push. You gave them the big push, but Solo Sikoa has to cheat to beat Jimmy Uso. That was the push. It wasn't a good push. Now with the belts, now I like it. Everybody's where they should be. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying if I am booking this, it's Tama and Solo against the Street Profits. Does any other tag team against the Street Profits move it for you? Street Profits are by far the best tag team on SmackDown, and I don't think there's anyone even close. Now let's move on to Netflix. Middle of the afternoon overseas. By the way, one thing I'll say about these overseas crowds, it's kind of brilliant to do what the WWE is doing because they can only get this fan reaction with these overseas crowds. They can't get it anywhere else. They are doing these crowds exactly what the WWE wants them to do. Case in point, John Cena. John Cena comes out, speaks for 20 minutes. John Cena is so good. Here is a thing about John Cena that people don't know. We undervalue him. And this is something in wrestling that not a lot of people can do. But John Cena can do it. John Cena can hold a crowd. John Cena talks. He waits. His timing is perfect. Who has timing like John Cena? Knows when to talk, knows what to do, knows where he's at in the ring, meeting. All right, I'm going to walk out. Nope, I'm not. I'll come back. If you rewatch that Netflix segment with John Cena, it was a master job. And that's before he even spoke. He did 6 minutes of in that ring masterclass on how to hold the crowd captive. Hold it. Hold that energy there. Not give you anything, but I'm giving you everything. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand the psychology of what John Cena was doing there? I'm giving you nothing, but yet I'm giving you everything. It was a master work for Cena. And I'll be honest with you. I first started watching the John Cena speech, and it's like, you wanted everything from me, and what was next? You always wanted something more from me. You never asked me how I was doing, and it got into this big thing. I'm a human being. And about the t-shirt, and about the sports, or about his t-shirt, and about the fans wearing his shirt, and got on the people who were wearing his t-shirt. Called the WWE Universe bullies. And he said it was never good enough for you. What I did was never good enough for you because you always wanted more. It was never enough. No matter what I did for 25 years, it was never enough. And I thought it was genius John Cena. It was never enough for you. I didn't think he was going to go that route. I thought he was going to go, but he goes like, I'm a human. I gave everything to you. And all you did is shit on me. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect. Not what I thought was going to happen. And then I'm kind of going, man, this works. What he's doing works. And he's just better than everyone. Maybe not CM Punk, but he's different than CM Punk on the mic. What John Cena did there was different than CM Punk because John Cena is the heel. And if I'm every WWE heel, I'm watching that. Kind of like a stand-up comic. If you're a stand-up comedy fan, there's a thing like stage presence. And some guys' stage presence are better than others. Chris Rock, great stage presence. Sebastian Maniscalco. I've talked to Sebastian, interviewed him. He doesn't talk like that when he's on stage, by the way, and he talked to us about that. It's an act, but it's a great act. And it's your stage presence of what you do, and that's what John Cena does. One of the best of all time. Then Cody comes out, and I just talked about Cody not being able to carry a feud, right? But Cody looks at John Cena, and he doesn't fight. They don't go at it. You know, you would think they would go at it right away, and they don't. John Cena stands there, stoic look on his face. And to sum up Cody, I thought Cody was brilliant. Maybe his best promo, where he said, you know what? I expected more from you. I wanted the old John Cena. Will you go get the old John Cena? Because this is a whiny bitch. And I loved it. I love Cody saying, I'm not even excited for WrestleMania. Look at you. This is what I get. You turned heel on me. You turned against me. And this is what I got. I don't want to wrestle this guy. I don't want to wrestle this guy. Come back next week. I want the other guy. I don't want this John Cena. Now, what does John Cena do? That is why we are interested in this feud. And that's why the feud works. Cena's talking from the heart, talking about how you wanted more. You bullied me. I changed for you. I did everything you wanted me to do. And then Cody comes out and goes, boy, this John Cena here, this guy sucks. I'm not even interested in this guy. I'm not even angry at this guy. I thought it was brilliant. I don't know. I'm assuming John probably came up with his stuff. I'm not sure if Cody came up with his stuff either. But if Cody did, it was brilliant. I mean, that segment was brilliant. Some of the best stuff carried 30 minutes. Sometimes when something carries 30 minutes, it loses steam. It didn't lose steam. It was fantastic. A couple other things I want to point out before we get out of here about Netflix Monday Night Raw. Couple good things. All right. Penta's push. Penta's a fantastic wrestler. Braun Breaker's a fantastic wrestler. BJ's a little bit higher on Braun Breaker than I am because I'm not ready to put Braun Breaker in that spotlight yet of the top guys, but he's a damn good wrestler. Reminds me of his dad. The short clotheslines, the speed, bigger, obviously, but they have something there. Slow with this. Slow the Braun Breaker ascent. Give us Braun Breaker against Jacob Fatu. Don't give it to us now. Maybe we're not even ready for it SummerSlam. Maybe we're ready for it next WrestleMania. But slow with Braun Breaker. Intercontinental Champion, Penta, biggest feud for both of them. Penta's come on the scene. Been one of the top stars. People are into him. Another great thing. Chad Gable, Luchador. Fantastic. And if you watch WWE.com, they had a clip where Chad Gable is with American Made. Is it American Made? American Alpha, something like that. American Made. And he goes, I'm going to find this guy. It's brilliant. just Chad Gable is the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm glad that they have this luchador come in and it's two different people. And what the luchador is doing, he's kicking everybody's ass. He took on Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio and beat the piss out of them. It's like he's different, but yet the same. And he puts the mask on and he's kicking ass. By the way, Nick D, chime in. Penta was the star and main eventer that Tony Khan screwed up. Yeah, you're right. Another missed opportunity. Look at the biggest stars in WWE. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Penta, all AEW guys that they screwed up. Ricky Sparks will be the next one. Ricky Sparks will be huge. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Great on the mic, great wrestler. Not necessarily a younger kid anymore, but he'll be a star because he's got the charisma of a star. Now, it'll be up to WWE, really, of what they want to do, how far they want to push him. But if you give him the opportunity, he will take full advantage of it. Guaranteed. But I thought Chad Gable was good. And another thing to watch as we wrap it up on a Wrestling Wednesday, Judgment Day's breaking up, right? Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, WrestleMania. I love Dominic Mysterio as a heel. Dominic Mysterio needs to win. You can't have a heel that gets his ass kicked every time he's out. Can you? Maybe you can. He seems to continue the heat no matter what you throw at him. I don't know if Dominic Mysterio has won on TV in a year. By the way, Nick D, if it is Demon Finn, I don't think the Demon has lost a match in WWE. So bye-bye, Dominic. But I think Finn Balor said, I'm done with the Demon persona. But then again, Kiss has told us we're not going to tour a million times, and they continued until recently. All right, we are back tomorrow, Sam and I. We've had 2 days of spring practice. NFL free agency's all but done. We will do a sports show tomorrow. Oh, by the way, he did. Demon lost to Bray Wyatt. So we're back tomorrow, OVE podcast. Hey, it's Torg for Custom Air. You know when it comes to my HVAC system, I don't trust just anyone. I trust Custom Air. These guys are fast, reliable, and they know their stuff. Fall's just around the corner, and now's the perfect time to make sure your HVAC equipment is running at its best. Don't wait until it's too late. Get ahead of the game. I wouldn't trust anyone else with my home, and neither should you. Visit them on the web at customairco.com and keep your home comfortable all season long. Custom solutions, custom comfort, Custom Air. Thinking of buying or selling a home? Give Lauren Torgerson a call with NextHome Experience. Lauren has been servicing the Columbus metropolitan area for 10 years. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, considering building, want to upsize or downsize, Lauren can help you with all your real estate needs. Get a free market analysis for your area and get started working on making tomorrow's dreams happen today. Call or text Lauren at 614-296-3952, 614-296-3952, or email at togersonlauren@gmail.com.